Thank you so much, chat, for letting me know that the mic was muted. So the mic should have only been muted on the first page and not on this one. So, okay, guys, I'll start again. Um, so we got started late here because the chat wouldn't come up, and I ended up having to restart the computer. So everything should be working right now. I hadn't touched these settings. I'm using the same settings that I always do, but there was a glitch somewhere. I guess I never turned the laptop off. So I had to restart everything, and now everything's working perfectly. So hopefully everybody can hear me now. So I want to wish everybody a good afternoon. Great. Now everybody can hear me. I'm glad it didn't go on for like 5 minutes, but I can just recap what I said. Basically, I was just saying I had to restart the computer. It's very quiet. Okay, so let's go up with it. How's that? Of course, it'll take a little while to see if you guys hear it, but hopefully you can hear me now. Okay, perfect. So after resetting and restarting the computer, we should be good. So I was just talking about um, basically having to restart the computer to get the chat to working, and for some reason the microphone was muted, but all seems to be well now. We're going to be looking at my newest project that I picked up a while back. This video was over on Patreon, so if you guys haven't checked that out yet to see videos that I put out over there, this is just a sample of some of the stuff that I put out over there. And next coming weeks, I want to talk about replacing sunroof gears and just little odds and ends stuff like that. And the reason why I was holding the Hot Wheels up was because we're getting ready to hit 10,000 subs. I'm about 98 subs away from 10,000. And look at that. That's a Hot Wheels of my project car. We'll say it is. It's a black 944. And the 10,000 sub, it isn't much, but I'll be giving them a signed black Hot Wheels here. So if you haven't subbed yet, I don't think anybody here is not subscribed, but let's see if we can hit 10,000 subs. So anyway, guys, like I said, I picked this car up a while back, and I made just a short little video for everyone on Patreon. Like I mentioned, I do videos like this over on Patreon. We won't be watching all the videos that are over there, but I thought that this was a pretty interesting one that we'll just kind of go through and watch together for a live stream. And of course, as always, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to hit me up in the chat. So let's go ahead and get started here, and let me know if there's still any audio issues, because normally I put my headphones on and I might do that to see if it comes through now. When I was running a test, the problem with the software is that you don't really know what's going to happen until you go live. So does not warn me about anything. So there could be some reverb and feedback and stuff like that going on that we need to check. But let me grab my headphones. So I had the same problem last time. Whenever I would turn my head, well, I couldn't get the audio to come through for me, and I fixed that, but then it wasn't coming through my headphones. So hopefully everything doesn't come through my speakers and create feedbacks. So anyway, let's get started. So hey guys, today I'm going to go look at a 944. The body looks really straight. The interior looks good, but it does not currently run. The owner said about 2 months ago he was driving it and it just shut off. So what I've got here is a jump pack, a new sensor, just in case I need it. But before I even change the sensor out, I've got a multimeter to make sure that it is the sensor. And I got a few tools to swap everything out. I got a DME relay down in there just in case, and a jumper. And I also brought a spare late computer because you never know. The computer might have died, so pretty much I'm set up for almost anything here except if the fuel pump died. So in that case, you know, it's probably just best to go ahead and tow it to the shop. But otherwise, maybe I'll get lucky and I can drive it home today.
Keep right.
So here we drove about 2 hours to go see this car. All right, guys, this is a black 85.5 944. See, the door handle's missing, and there are a few issues with the body, but I plan to wrap the car that I'm going to do this project with. So the paint wasn't really that important. I just want it to be straight. See, there's a little ding there. A little bit of paint peeling here. Yeah, we got an issue there, but that's about the only problem we had with the balance. We could probably build that back up and do something with it. Make it look decent. Like I said, I'm gonna wrap it, so you can hide a lot in a wrap, but you just gotta make sure it's straight. Back here, there's a little issue, and there is a little hole in the light there, but that's about the only thing wrong. Other than that there too, but this would need to be resprayed anyway. But overall, it's a pretty straight body. I do have a car that has a straighter body, but I don't think it's what I have in mind for the project. So you can see over there we'd have to fix the switches. Looks like the wiring's cut. Oof, it's not fine. We got some issues with the headliner here. The seats coming apart right there. Need to fix these switches, but other than that, the interior does not look bad at all. Yeah, maybe we can get a decent deal on this thing. And let me show you what I found under the hood here. So this is why I'm not going to try and start it. I was really hoping that I might just stick a DME relay in there, or a computer or something like I mentioned, but instead I found leaky injectors. Look down in here. I don't know if you can, but it's brown because there's so much gasoline that's poured down in there, and if I wiggle this one right there, you can see there's fuel all in there. So not sure exactly which one is leaking, if they're not all leaking, but that is fuel. I told him to just go ahead and disconnect the battery and don't try and start it again, because this thing will go up. Just look, this doesn't even sit on there right, just one spark on that and this car's gone. So anyway, guys, doesn't look too bad. I'm gonna see if I can get a good deal on it, and we'll go from there. So, all right, guys, I'm going to have this shipped home. Like I said, it will not run in its current condition, and I was just thinking, I sold the white car because basically it was needing a little bit more work than I had time for, and I was looking so forward to having my little white car back, and this thing probably needs a lot more than the white car ever did, but I've decided to buy it, and you know, I can probably get it running again. But yeah, at least I don't have to put body panels on and worry about painting it and stuff. So anyway, I am having it shipped over to the shop, and then from there it looks like we'll have to pull some of these dings out. We're gonna have to
replace all these hoses. They've been cut and refastened. There's no coolant in here, so if I wanted to drive it home today, I couldn't. And then I had to replace these injectors, but the oil looks good, and what little bit of coolant is in the system still looks good, so I don't think there's any problem there. But I've got to do the water pump, the belts and everything anyway. Gonna get this door handle on, but overall straight car. I think it needs just a little bit of TLC in the engine bay and it'll be a really good car. So that's the idea at this point. All right guys, it'll be at the shop in a few days and I'll start working on it and I'll keep you guys updated with the post. All right guys, my car has arrived. Yeah.
I didn't know that did that at the top right there.
That's all right.
Yeah. When I loaded it in.
All right guys, my car has arrived. I need to get the windows up because it's been raining off and on. But as you can see, made it here in one piece. It did acquire a new dent since the last time I saw it the other day. I think what happened was they tried to push it on with an ATV and it dented it right there. Hopefully I can get that out without too much trouble. But other than that, the car is pretty straight. I might even try and polish it with some stuff that I have in there just to see what this paint looks like. You can see the hood's not really that bad. I think a little bit of polish might go a long way on this. Being that it is a darker color, it is awfully hot, but I'd just like to see what this paint will turn out like. So as far as getting started on this project, it's gonna be a while. As you know, I sold the white car because I just didn't have time to work on it. And I don't want that to be the case on this. I've got to get this car put together, but I think it's gonna be fairly simple to get it running. The paint should polish up pretty decently. The interior is pretty decent. And if I can get it running for now, then it's gonna make it a little bit easier. With the white car, it needed a lot before it was gonna be back on the road. It didn't seem like very much, but I've gotta figure out how to pop the hood here. It seems like maybe the cable isn't connected. I didn't notice that before because he'd popped the hood for me. So yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that and get the hood back open. But yeah, when a car is driving, it makes it a little bit easier to work on, just because you know, you're a little bit more into it then. But when the car's just sitting and you've got a long way to go, you kind of put it on the back burner. But if I can get this thing running and make it look good, then you know, I'll be more inclined to work on it. Something I did notice was that it does have slotted rotors. Slotted and drilled rotors, I should say. I don't know if you guys can see that. There you go. So that's nice. It's not much, but you know. As far as this goes, the valance looks good. What I could probably do is buy some stuff and sort of fill this in and make it look good. I do plan to wrap this car, or I may get it painted. I haven't really decided yet. I know wraps don't typically last more than 5 years, and might be better to just go ahead and paint it. But yeah, shouldn't take much to get this thing running again. I do need to get the hood open so that way I can look down in the cylinders and make sure they're in good health. But yeah, eventually pull this engine. For me, bodywork's not too hard. On the white car, I had to replace the valance, replace the fender, and replace the door and the windshield. But on this car, you know, I just maybe need to do a few things, get it running, and then I can start doing some odds and ends, make it look good. But yeah, eventually maybe I'll build an engine on the stand that looks fantastic, get the interior all put together, but it'll be a nice driving car, shouldn't take much. But that's the plans for it. I want to do it in a race livery for the business, and when I go to 944 Fest or something, I want it to look really good and sort of showcase what we do here at the shop. And then if I build a really nice engine for it, then I can pop the hood and show off all that stuff, and then maybe even like have a chart that says what's all done to this car and how much everything costs to get your 944 looking this good. But yeah, it's just a start. Hopefully I'll finish this project. I should have finished the white car, but at the time I was just sort of kind of over it. Sometimes it's just better to get rid of projects that aren't really going anywhere. And the car looks fantastic now, so I'm kind of glad I did sell it, because I sold it to someone who fixed it up and made it look better than I really ever could. Well, I could, but I should say that he has a lot more patience than I do. I would have made that car look every bit as good as that, but it took a lot of time that I just didn't have. So hopefully this is going to take a lot less time. We can make it look good, and it's going to take less work. That's the idea, though. You would think that changing those items and getting it painted wouldn't really be that big of a deal, but I still needed to go in and do some interior work to it and rebuild the engine, and that just on top of it was just too much for me at the time. At least this way I've got a running car that I can enjoy, and I can tinker with it in my spare time. But anyway, guys, that's a quick look at this car, and I'll try and keep you updated on the project. And I do plan to keep this one. This is my second black 944, and there's a whole story behind the first one that I had, and maybe I'll tell you that sometime. But as for now, I might just polish this fender, see what it looks like, and we'll go from there. But anyway, guys, thank you all again for being Patreon supporters, and hopefully you'll see more of this project in the future.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I ramble a little bit sometimes in my Patreon videos because sometimes there's a lot of background to some of the stuff that I'm talking to. So they'll see a lot of other cars that I own and other projects that I'm working on that I never get around to. But I do plan to do something with this one though, and I've got a Garnet 944 that I really need to work on as well. So I was trying to answer text or and comments while that was playing. Art said some goo came out of the boot on his his manual steering rack when he did a tie rod. Did that need to be replaced? Uh, those should have grease in there, so if it's grease, that should be fine. It's not going to have power steering fluid like the power steering racks do. I think I'm saying that right. I'm kind of. So, yeah, you have a manual rack. There should be grease in those boots. That's probably what you saw. If it looked dried up and caked up and just dirty, I would, especially if it feels loose. So, how does the steering feel? There's I would say if the steering feels fine, then and it was just grease, then I wouldn't worry too much about it. But at this at this point, they're probably all dried out and need to be re-greased and some new tie rods put on if they're original. So yeah, this was my second black 944. I plan to fix up the first one, but that's a whole other story. And I no longer own that car. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any more questions, then I'll wrap it up here. Go visit my Patreon and check out some of the videos over there if you like stuff like this. I got a whole other world of videos over there, stuff that is some of my private cars and personal projects I'm working on. Sometimes it's just showing off the cars that we're working on over here at the shop. And as you see, stuff like this. I do want to finish up the video that I'm making on the power sunroof that should come out in the next week or so. I just didn't have any time to do it this week. That was going to be this week's video, but at the last minute, I was like, I got this video ready to go. So that's the way it goes sometimes. I am way behind on stuff, so just trying to hold it down here at the shop. Again, I want to thank all you guys for coming out. And like I said, let's get to 10,000 subs. And I want to thank y'all again for joining me. And we'll do another one next week, hopefully without any hiccups. I'm going to try and save everything as far as the settings on this so we don't run into it again. And we'll see you next week.